Okay, let's just start the next session in business strategy. So I hope you all doing well. And uh, before I start, let me explain something. I've received an email from some of you that you want me to reconsider the group assignments, and some of you have been experiencing problems with the group assignment. Unfortunately, that's not possible. The group assignment is one of the uh, major ways that you will get your final score, and it's definitely not acceptable because as professionals we are required to do jobs as a group or an individual in our career, and it's not always easy, and we have all these ways to find different methods to do that, like doing it online with emails and everything. You can divide the job. One of you does so and so, the other one does the other parts, and then get it together. And we are only few sessions away from the submission. So please make sure that you are liaising with your team members, studying together, or arranging in any way. And the time is short, so just make it as soon as possible. And if you haven't done anything yet, so just make sure you start right now. And it's too late, but it's still possible. So there would be no exceptions or no change to the plan. So we will have the group assignment. So please let me fix my voice. Somebody. Okay. I hope my voice is better now. Okay. So just make sure that you do your assignments together, and there wouldn't be any changes accepted to the group assignments and individual ones. So, okay. So let's start the next session. So we did talk about the segmentation of the market. Now we are going to talk about customer needs to satisfy. So in order for us to understand how we are going to satisfy the needs of the customers, we need to know that the needs of the customers are always related to the products, benefits, and features. So that's very important. When we are talking about a product, understanding the differences of features and benefits are very important. Features are basically the characteristics or descriptions of the products. Like, let's say, if you're selling cell phones, just text message, unlimited text message, or all those different type of features they have, like cameras or all those different things. Those are the features that the cell phones have. But the benefits are those stuff that basically customer get from those features. So features are the what, and the benefits are the basically the result or what they get from those features. Or in a way, features tell and benefits sell. So customers don't buy for the features necessarily, they buy for the benefits they get from the features. So that's very important to understand when you're doing a marketing plan. When you're doing a marketing plan, you always need to, consider features and benefits, and definitely you need to make the customers understand the benefits, because that's what makes them buy the product. Then customer needs are either neither right nor wrong, good nor bad. So basically, we need to understand that whenever customer needs something, It is their needs, so there is no right or wrong to that. And customer needs represent desires in terms of features and performance capabilities. So customer needs, basically, they represent their desires, what they want for, and what type of performance. So that gives us an idea. There meaning a core competencies necessary to satisfy customer needs. So firms use competencies to implement value, creating strategies that satisfy customers' needs. Only firms with capacity to continuously improve, innovate, and upgrade their competencies can expect to meet or exceed customer expectation across time. So basically, firms use competencies to use or implement their value creating strategies. We talk a lot about value creating strategies, and basically the idea of proposing a value to a customer is very important. So basically, customers are very concerned about the value they get along with the benefits, and only firms that can innovate continuously and persistently are those who are successful. So as you can see in the market, those companies that just come to mind whenever you want to think of a product or a service. So the first company that comes to your mind, if you just think about it, you will see that that company is the one that gives you the best value or the best product, and they are the most innovative one because they are concerned about being there, and for them to be able to do that, they basically need to be persistent in innovation and development. So that's that. And then types of business level strategy. Okay, we have different types of business strategies. So one is business level strategies are intended to create differences between the firm's position relative to those of its rivals. So basically, business strategy is what makes you different from your rivals, from your competitors. So it's very important to understand that when it comes to the business level strategies and what you do for your business, is basically going to tell a lot about what's the difference between your company and your competitors. So it's always good, and it helps to understand your business level strategies well, so that you can implement and make those changes possible. Because if you don't know exactly how you want to implement those differences, how are you going to convince the customer to come to you and buy the products from you? Because not being able to deliver or walk the talk that you are basically claiming to do that is really dangerous to your company. You need to be able to deliver what you promised the customer. So those benefits that you promise are those that you are supposed to deliver to the customer. So please make sure that in your company or organization you are totally aware of the business level strategies that you have, and make sure that you realize so that they are not just empty promises. Okay. To position itself, the firm must decide whether it intends to perform activities differently. We talked about this. So whether the firm wants to perform differently, or same job differently, or perform different activities from the rivals. So do something different. So we also talked about this, that lower overall cost or differentiating their products. So we also discussed that. Then we also talked about broad and narrow scope, that the broad is like the general customer that we talked about, and so different segments, and narrow is basically like a very niche and special market. So we discussed that. We did discuss this grid and talked about it. So we talked about cost leadership. Okay, I think we stopped here, right? Yep, I think you stopped here. So cost-saving actions required by this strategy. So by cost leadership strategy, we build an efficient scale facility, tightly controlling product costs and overhead, minimizing costs of sales, R&D services, building efficient manufacturing facilities, monitoring cost of activities provided by outsiders, and simplifying production processes. So these are some of the guidelines for cost leadership strategy, because when we are a cost leader, we try to make our costs as least as possible. So as you can see, by building an efficient scale facilities or controlling your costs or overhead, you probably be able to minimize your costs. You minimize your costs for R&D. So you see those companies that are their cost leaders, they are not that much into spending a lot of money on research and development, and they try to minimize the cost as much as possible. So building efficient manufacturing facilities. Efficient, we mean that those facilities that they can do the job with the least, repair, maintenance, or whatever is needed to be done can be done without that much of a cost. So that's something we need to do. And then monitoring cost of activities provided by outsiders. So by monitoring those activities, you would be able to make sure that you're not paying extra money for those activities. So you always know what you're paying for. And then simplifying production processes. So by simplifying those production processes, you sort of make them affordable, in a sense that you remove those processes that are not necessarily beneficial and are going to cost you some money. Okay, so how to obtain a cost advantage. As we talked previously, our major concern is to gain competitive advantage. So cost advantage is also achieved in different ways. So first, you need to know that what are your cost drivers? So what are the major causing problems in your company? So after you need to change production process, change in automation, new distribution channel, new advertising media, or direct sales in place of indirect sales. So all of these are different ways for you to deal with your cost drivers. And on the other side, we have your value chain, so we have to reconfigure if needed. So we have to use other new raw materials for forward integration, try to integrate your distribution channel into your company so that it will, change the cost that you have to pay to those retail, industries. And backward integration, sometimes you need to create your own supply instead of buying from some other company. Sometimes you do it yourself. That way you sort of, save some money and then change location relative to suppliers or buyers. Sometimes you need to change because, let's say, a lot of shipment expenses you pay for getting the raw materials or outbound logistics, sending your materials to the customer. So you might need to consider just changing your location so that that place is convenient for you to do them both and save some money. So as you can see here, you can go into all details in all different aspects of the company, be it value chain or only those stuff that cause your cost, and then make changes immediately so that you can minimize the cost. Okay, are we doing good so far? Any questions? Forward and backward. Yeah, Mr. Vyasi, forward and backward is, as I mentioned, you remember the value chain. So when you integrate with your suppliers is backward integration, and forward is when you go to the distributors or those who do the job after you create a product. So some companies decide to do it all together and remove the need to some suppliers or maybe the distribution channel. So it's one of the methods of saving some money, and it's common practice nowadays. Okay, so then again, we're talking about the firm infrastructure. So you'll see in all different levels of the the value chain. If you remember, you see the term here, the firm's infrastructure. So basically, one of the methods to do that, we do cost-effective management information systems. So our IT should be cost-effective, so we don't have to buy the information, or it wouldn't take us a lot of time to achieve and access those information and be able to use them properly at the right time, very easily, with easy access. Then relatively few managerial layers in order to reduce overhead costs. So basically, we are dealing. What I'm saying is we are discussing the value chain with regards to cost leadership strategy. So if you are a cost leader, you would go through details with your value chain. So as you can see, at the firm infrastructure level, we are dealing with the IT, relatively not many managerial layers. As you can see, those companies that are struggling, they're always downsizing on the management level, so that they can afford, because management is very expensive, and they sort of downsize and try to have the managers that they have be those who do several things at the same time. And simplified planning practices to reduce planning costs. So sometimes you need to use simplified planning practices, so that you don't spend that much money for planning, because a lot of companies, they spend a lot of money on planning. As I said, planning helps you know where you're going, shows you the vision. It's very good for the company. But if your company is struggling, you might need to, or have to, reconsider your planning practices. You don't have the luxury of going to some planners and spend a lot of money to do the plan. So you have to change the strategy when the companies are struggling. So human resource management. So consistent policies to reduce turnover costs. So you don't want your employees to leave you when you need them. I mean, that's something you really have to consider about your human resource. So intense and effective training programs to improve workers' efficiency and effectiveness. So basically, training when it's needed, you want to make that training as efficient as possible. Some companies, they have a huge amount of money spent on their training. So they have a training center with a lot of trainings going on. Sometimes you might have to integrate and mix some of the classes together, or design your training in a way that it will save you the money, or you wouldn't have to spend as much money. So being able to do a good effective training would help you to save money and also keep your employees updated all the time. Then technology, easy to use manufacturing technologies and investments in technologies in order to reduce costs associated with firms' manufacturing process. What is happening nowadays? Basically, technology is replacing the workforce. So instead of employees, now we need less employees for sure, and the major part of the job, or the most difficult part of the job, is done by the computers or the technology. So basically, even though it might be very costly to buy a very expensive machine to do something for you, and it might not make sense, but in the long run, you will still save a lot of money, because you're alleviating the need for a lot of employees. Basically, your need would be to have much less salaries you pay to the employees, and it's much easier to manage them. But at the same time, you're enjoying the technology and basically make that possible to you know to do business. So technology plays an important role in saving money. Attention to your products. Mr. Rafa, yes, that's right. But basically, at the same time, you need to consider that easy-to-use manufacturing technologies. Technology, as you know, is the better it is, the easier it is to use. So basically, user-friendly technology is what we need nowadays. As you can see, like just an example, like the softwares that are always updating. Let's say Microsoft Word that you're using like out of 2011 compared to 2003, you will see it's much easier to use, even though it does much more and the features are too much more, but it's much easier to use. So basically the idea is the technology, the better it gets, the easier it gets to use. So basically easy to use doesn't mean that it's not a good technology. It means that it gives you the best possible quality for the products, because you have a lot of stuff that you can do on the product. So that's what easy to use is and how we can benefit from it. Then procurement, we said how to you make the products ready. So systems and procedures to find the lowest cost, acceptable quality products to purchase as raw materials. So procurement is getting your raw material ready. So frequent evaluation processes monitor suppliers' performances. So costs are varied and depend on the structure of the industry. Yes, Mr. Dragon, that's true. It is related to the structure of the industry, but then again, remember that your value chain, the firm structure, human resource technology, and procurement would be the same, but it's just how you deal with it and how you make sure that you are, a cost leader, and how you're able to, to do what is needed to make the products with the most efficient and effective prices. So that's something you have to consider. And okay. And then we talked about the frequent evaluation processes. So what happens is in a lot of companies, you have a lot of methods to do that. One of them is Six Sigma and how they try to improve their products on a continuous basis. So it's very important to understand that, even though you might have a very good processes, but you have to evaluate them continuously. So one of the things that, like, let's say Six Sigma does, it helps you to reevaluate your procedures and all these different ways that you create a product continuously. So you're always trying to improve. So that's one of the methods, but all it is just continuously measuring your service quality or product quality and everything. Then talking about the side part, we have the inbound logistics, highly efficient system to link suppliers, products to the firm's production processes. So you need to find a highly efficient way to link to your suppliers, so that you can make your production possible. Then the use of economies of scale to reduce production costs. So, and construction of efficient scale production facilities. So the The support activities in the value chain, as you can see, are also very important in how you will be able to, to minimize the cost over there. So you can see economies of scale, as we talked about it. The more you create, the cheaper the product gets. So you need to be able to bundle the products together when you do the production, so you can, product as many as possible, so that then your cost to produce that product would be less. Then a delivery schedule that reduces costs. So you want to to take the product to customers. You need to find a very good schedule to reduce the cost. One of the ways, like a good example would be what Amazon does. Let's say when you do a shopping. I mean, on Amazon, when we do shopping, you have an ID, and then you buy the product, and then they send you the product, right? But they have this feature on Amazon that you can bundle those stuff that you purchased to us until a certain limit, and they would all be delivered to you at the same time. So they just add the items together, and they deliver them all at the same time. So that's one of the examples of Amazon being that delivery schedule that reduces the cost. So selection of low-cost transportation also. You try to minimize the transportation cost, because if you're paying a lot of money for the transportation, and if you're going to charge, I mean, you have to charge the customer, so then your product cost would be higher. So it makes sense to find a transportation system or a way that it costs the customer and yourself less, so that your product's price will be more reasonable, makes sense. Then a highly trained sales force. So marketing and sales. So you wouldn't be able to spend a lot of money on marketing when you're a cost driver, but at the same time you could still use the most efficient, the marketing people, and products priced so as to generate significant sales volume. So you need to price your products in a way that they bring you a tremendous amount of sales volume. Then efficient and proper product installations in order to reduce the frequency and severity of recalls. So make sure that you are using efficient and proper product installation, so that your products are installed in a proper way, so that you reduce the recalls. Let's say what happened with Toyota, they had a problem with their brake system. They had to recall over 1 million cars in the United States. So it cost them a lot of money. It's inconvenience to the customers. It costs a lot of money to the company. So the less you have of these kind of issues, the more cost you'll be able to save. Okay. So is there any questions so far on this value chain cost leadership? Okay. Since there is no question, let's move on. So it's just listing them down for what we talked on the chart. It's just a detailed list. So cost leadership strategy, just to continue. Competitive risk. Processes used to produce and distribute goods and services may become obsolete due to competitors' innovation. So you need to understand that we are in a turbulent environment, so it's moving all the time. And basically what's going on is that your rivals or competitors are innovating all the time. They're getting better all the time. So what you need to know, you need to do is you need to understand that some of your strategies or processes might come obsolete and out of date, and you have to change them accordingly. Otherwise, you'll lose out to your competitors. Then focus on cost reductions. Make care at the expense of customers' perception of differentiation. So yeah, it really matters what customers think of you. So make sure whatever you do, especially when you do the the cost reduction, that doesn't affect the customer perception. I mean, it does, but try to be aware of that and try to control the the effect it has on the customer's perception, because it's very important what you are thought of, and make sure what you're thought of is what you desire to be thought of by customers, because what they think of you is basically end of the day what you really are as a company. So you just make sure that you are where you want to be with your customers. It's just extremely important. So it's not something that you would just disregard. Competitors using their own core competencies may successfully imitate the cost leader's strategy. So some companies might be whose microphone is off, Mr. Ibrahimi? I understand that my voice is clear. So are you? I see. Okay, no problem. So competitors, some of your competitors might use their own okay. Thank you, Mr. Alizadeh. So uh, okay. So competitors, some of them, they might just imitate what you do using their own core competencies. So we have already discussed how imitation, basically, how your company has to make it difficult for other rivals or competitors to imitate you or copy you. So that's something you need to consider if you're a cost driver. Make sure that it's not easy to imitate and it's unique. Then we go to the differentiation strategy. So different set of actions taken to produce goods or services at an acceptable cost, so that the customers perceive as being different in ways that are important to them. So non-standardized products, customers value differentiated features more than they value the low cost. So differentiation strategy is a whole different concept from the cost leader one, because now you're dealing with the customers who basically don't want you don't want anyone to, I mean, they don't really want this exactly same products. They really care for the differences. So, and to answer your question, Mr. Diasi, there are certain imitations or copying that are not copyrighted. Only patented methods are for you to use, and people cannot copy, and there are certain time limits over the patent that you get. You get like a couple years or a few years, and after that everybody can do that. So basically what it is companies just understand how you minimize your costs, and they do the same. You cannot patent everything, because end of the day, these are all different methods for us to be able to create a product. So basically, what we mean by imitation and not being easy to imitate is that the skill you need and the technology and whatever is something that is not easy for everyone doing that. You want to make sure that it is unique to your company. That's what we're trying to discuss. And yeah, a lot of imitation going on in different industries and the markets. Okay, then customers value differentiated features more than they value low cost. So we need to understand that differentiation is something that matters to the customer. If they have the money, they wouldn't pay more. They wouldn't mind paying more for a product that is different from the product that everybody else is using, and it's something customized to their needs and desires. So how to obtain differentiation advantage? So then you have to still consider your cost drivers and then reconfigure your value chain. So the same concept, but the different approach. So another question from you. But imitation is a lot. How can a company remain unique? Yeah, that's what we're discussing. Change is happening all the time, and for you to be able to stay where you are, you need to innovate and change as soon as possible all the time. It's just the process of innovation happening all the time, and then you're just improving and improving all the time. You can't just stay where you are and expect to be unique. That's not possible anymore. We are living in an environment that whatever change that happens to your company, everybody would know about it. So within less than a month, all the companies want to do the same thing, that if it's a good thing. So you need to understand, if you innovate and come up with a great idea and you make some changes, it will not last long. I mean, customers are so demanding nowadays; they want more and more and more every single day. So what you got to do is you got to just continue innovating and changing as a need be. So that's how you will make sure that the product would remain unique, just by continuously innovating and changing it for a better quality or whatever it is. So when we're dealing with the differentiation strategy, you try to lower the cost that the buyers pay, raise performance of the product or service, create sustainability through customer perceptions of uniqueness, customer reluctance to switch to non-unique products or services. So basically what it is you want to make sure that your customers are not going to change or switch to other companies because you want to make them believe that your product is unique and they can't get it anywhere else. It's where what they get from you is only coming from you, and no other companies in the market can give them the same type of product. Then same concept with the value chain here. I go to the chart, it's easier to explain. So then firm infrastructure, you are going to use a highly developed information system to better understand customer purchasing preferences. So your IT system is very important when it comes to the firm infrastructure, especially for differentiation. Like what happens, let's say, for a company like Ritz-Carlton Hotel, their management information system is so unique. What happens is, if you go to a Ritz-Carlton anywhere in the globe, in any country, they'll ask your questions, or those preferences that you tell them directly, or those that you tell them indirectly, like what color you like, what are your personal preferences and everything. They will save those data, and then if you happen to go to another Ritz-Carlton anywhere else in the world, you will see that they follow the same preferences that you sort of indicated in your first visit. So they will try to wow you. They will try to surprise you. So that's how their IT works, and that's how successful differentiating companies do their business. So they make sure what they do. They make sure their IT is highly developed so that they can utilize it, because information is really important in being to be differentiation value provider. So then a company-wide emphasis on the importance of producing high-quality products. So it's really important when you are a differentiation leader that all your employees and staff, they understand the concept of high quality. You are there to provide a high quality product or service. So that's what everyone in the company is looking forward to and doing. So it's really important to sort of make everyone understand that and believe in that. So let's say a good example is General Electric. You see that every single person in the company is sort of working so hard on the concept of the high quality of the product. So the service quality improvement is happening all the time in the company, and it's because everyone believes in service quality improvement and product quality improvement. So the belief of the staff is really important. Then human resource management. So compensation programs intended to encourage workers and creativity and productivity. So when you are a differentiation company, here you have more leeway, if you will, regarding your human resource. In order to encourage or value your staff, you would give them compensation programs, send them to certain places or like seminars, or make sure that you are encouraging them continuously. And then extensive use of subjective rather than objective performance measures. So you want to make sure that your performance measures are really right to the task, and they're not just general assessment tools, and they are designed well for that problem. And then superior personal training. Sometimes you need a personal trainer just for one-on-ones. Your staff will receive a lot of training and comments and feedbacks from you or the managers or whoever is involved as a trainer to help every single employee to grow with you and become better. Then the technology development, strong capability in basic research. So research and development is very important. Investment in the technologies that will allow the firm to produce highly differentiated products. So then again, the difference between the cost leader technology and differentiated product technology is that cost leader is basically you're dealing with the technology that helps you to do the maximum amount of production as possible. So you try to bundle as many different type of products and create them together. But when it comes to the differentiation, you want to make sure that your products are high quality and they are differentiated, they are unique. So there might be a lot of features you want to add to every single product that you create. So you can't create a lot of economies of a scale, so many products at the same time is not necessarily the best way to do differentiation production. So what we are talking about is the technology that gives you the chance to produce the product with the uniqueness that the customer is looking for. Then we are talking about the support activities, the inbound logistics, and you bring in the materials, superior handling of incoming raw materials, as well as minimize the damage and improve the quality of final product. So you want to make sure that when you receive the materials, when you bring in or ship in the products, they are done in an efficient way, minimize the damage, and you want to improve that all the time. Then for operations, what you're doing on the raw materials to create the product. So consistent manufacturing of attractive products. So you're consistently manufacturing attractive products and rapid responses to customers' unique manufacturing specifications. So you're always responding back. You're always, efficient in answering back what the customer really needs, and also consistently creating attractive products. So your products should be unique. That's something you really have to consider. Then accurate, outbound, how you ship out to the customers, accurate and responsive order processing procedures. Like a good example is eBay or Amazon, how they are following up their order processing, how the customer will understand what happens to their order. The moment you make an order and make a purchase online on Amazon, you will receive a confirmation email from them that, okay, we received it, we're going to ship it in a couple of days. When they start shipping the product, they email you again to let you know, okay, your product is shipped. So you see how efficient it is and how you are involved as a customer in the process of shipment. Then rapid and timely product deliveries to customers. So here you don't consider as much about the cost as you would with regard to the cost leader, because here a customer is willing to pay, but they just want an efficient and good quality delivery. So you got to make sure that happens. So it might cost, and they don't mind, and they pay for it. But all that matters is that it's efficient and done in a proper way. And the marketing, extensive granting of credit buying arrangements for customers, and extensive personal relationships with buyers. So at this level, you are creating a personal relationship with your customer, and basically there will be a lot of one-to-one kind of marketing, because at this level your buyer is a big buyer, and one single product that you sell to a single customer can bring you a lot of money. So here your marketing strategies is different. It's not just a general cost-efficient marketing. You might spend more. You might take your client to the best hotel, give them the best service, and then just present the product to them all at your expense, because what you get in response is just a huge deal, and it is worth it. So you'll see that the way they do the marketing on this way is totally different from just the mass marketing. Then extensive buyer training to ensure high quality product installations. Make sure that your service is also right. So you have the buyer training, you train them so that they can install the product properly. It's like easy to use and everything. And then complete fill the stocking of replacement parts. So make sure that you have everything in stock when they want you to. You are able to support them. So any questions so far on the stuff that we discussed? Is everything clear? Any questions? Anything you want to share? You can raise your hand and talk over here, or you can just type it down there. Okay. So we go to the next slide. So the risk of differentiations is that the price differential between the differentiator product and the cost leader product becomes too large. Okay, so here is a great point that everyone needs to consider. When you are a differentiator and you're producing a product with a certain price, which is not necessarily about the price, and it's about quality and uniqueness, it might be too expensive compared to just a cost leader product. Let's say if you're talking about a genuine cell phone, like iPhone cell phone, and then a no-brand cell phone, then if there is a huge difference regarding the price, and it's not justifiable, you're in trouble, because the customer needs to understand why they are paying more. That understanding is basically the huge first step in starting a relationship with the customer. If the customer really believes and buys the idea that your product is really good and it's worth it to pay 3 times or 4 times as much as just a no-brand item, then you have done a good job. So differentiation access to provide value for which customer are willing to pay. So differentiation ceases to provide that. So then the differentiation also imitation across industries is a more effective and profitable strategy. Mr. Sharifi, I don't know where you're taking this from. Where did you get that, the imitation across industries? Did you get it from the previous slides? Okay, so differentiation is from here. I don't see that. Is it in, where do you get it exactly? Which slide? Yeah, find out which slide and then I'll explain it to you. Okay, so okay. So then experience now a customer's perception of the value of differentiation features and counterfeit goods replicate differentiated features of the firm's products. So all these are the risks that you take. Sometimes, as I said, the customer should be willing to pay. If they're not willing to pay for that differentiation, you're in trouble. Then sometimes the perceptions of the customer are not right. So they just think you have certain certain perceptions of the customers gives a very limited definition of what you do. So make sure the perception the customer gets from you is the one that you want them to think of you. So you need to work on that, and that's a risk for differentiation. And also, counterfeit goods. So a lot of counterfeit or non-genuine products or goods always put you at a risk of losing customers, because as I said, you need to be able to argue that your product is good enough to be such expensive, and for customers be able to pay or be willing to pay as much that you're requesting for. It takes a lot of work on the perception of the customers. Okay. So focus strategies is an integrated set of actions taken to produce goods or services that serve the needs of particular competitive segments. So particular buyer group, then different segment of a product, like professional craftsman versus do-it-yourself, and different geographic markets. Okay. Types of focus strategies. So the focus strategies, they could be cost leadership or differentiation. To implement a focus strategy, firms must be able to complete various primary and support activities in a competitively superior manner in order to develop and sustain a competitive advantage and earn above average returns. So basically, in order to be able to implement a focus strategy, you need to be able to complete various primary or support activities in a competitive way, so that it's not easy for the customers to copy or imitate you. And the type of focusing that you do, either it's cost leadership or differentiation, it takes a lot of research and development all the time, because if you choose the wrong strategy, it will take you to the wrong way. So you need to understand exactly what you want to do and how you want to deal with your customers, and so end of the day you would be able to deliver what you promised to the customer. So it's really important to make sure you are at the right focus strategy, if you will. Okay. So what are the factors that drive focus strategies? What are exactly those factors that cause the company to go to that focus strategies? So some factors are like large firms may overlook small niches, like niche markets might be overlooked for big corporations. So that creates a need for certain focus strategies. So some companies come into being because, like the major or big corporations, they fail to address the needs of a certain niche market with certain desires or product requirements. A firm may lack the resources needed to compete in the broader market. Also, sometimes you're not able to. What are the tools to? What are the tools? There's a question here by Mr. Barak, which is a good question. I like to address that question. Is how would you know that you are at the right focus strategy? I would say the best is that if you're still in the business, if you're getting feedback from the customers, if they're buying your product, if you're successful, if you're able to compete. So that's a good sign. That's the first thing you need to do. If you are meeting your cost, your break even, and also getting some profit off of the sales that you're selling to the customers. So that's one of the best tools. The others is like just continuously be careful about the concept of losing out, and be able to innovate and re-innovate all the procedures and make sure that you're doing the right job. So then we have where were we? Okay, yeah, the second one, a firm may lack the resources needed to compete in the broader market. So you may lack some resources required to compete in a broader market. So here you're asking whether I mean market intelligence. It's just, yeah, understanding of the market and be able to understand if you're on the right track. So it's just a matter of trial and error sometimes. Then a firm is able to serve a narrow market segment more effectively than can its larger industry-wide competitors. So some firms are able to serve a narrow market more effectively than the larger market. So that's what pushes them towards focus strategy. Focusing allows the firm to direct its resources to certain value chain activities to build competitive advantage. So sometimes focusing allows the firm to direct their resources in a right way. So their value chain, they build a competitive advantage. So it's just to everyone there is a different method and strategy. So sometimes just focusing on a niche market makes you able to provide competitive advantage. So that's really important to understand that you are at the right track. Okay. Then what are the risks of focus strategies? A focusing firm may be out-focused by its competitors. So sometimes when you're focusing on certain niche, some other corporations or rivals might be able to out-focus you. They might be better than you in focusing on that niche market, and then you will lose out. A large competitor may set its sights on a firm's niche market. So sometimes a larger corporation might be able to cover that, so you will lose out again. Or customer preferences in the niche market may change to more closely resemble those of the broader markets. Sometimes mass corporations are able to change customers' needs towards what they provide. So it's also very important to understand that when it comes to marketing, it's a lot of educating the customers. Like, let's say in banks or bank industry, it's changing a lot. So a lot of changes are not necessarily desired by the customers, like debit cards, online banking. So traditional customers wouldn't like that. But banks, the big banks, are trying to make the customers believe the idea of these changes and go for it. And as you can see, there are a lot of customers that would go to the let's say community banks. Now they come to the bigger corporations because they already believe what the big corporations want them to believe. So it's very important to be aware of that. And like as a focused company, you need to also try to help the customer understand why your niche market is important, because if their needs change towards a bigger chunk size of the production, then you will probably lose out. Okay, so integrated cost leadership differentiation strategy. A firm that successfully uses an integrated cost leadership strategy should be in a better position to adapt quickly to environmental changes. So when you're doing a cost leadership strategy, you need to be able to change according to the environment. Okay, and then learn new skills and technologies more quickly. So sometimes you need to learn technologies very fast and implement those changes and technologies into your corporation. And then effective leverage its core competencies while competing against its rivals. So you are always changing and adapting all those competencies while you're competing. So these are some of the challenges that if you manage to do them successfully, it helps you to be Sir Ibrahimi, what is the error? What kind of error are you experiencing? Okay. So, okay, if you lost voice, yeah, as you know, you can just leave and then come back, probably will fix, or try to activate your voice conference when you get in. So, or if you have any more questions, you can ask the admin. They will help you out. Okay. So, yeah, as you can see, if you are successful in adapting to the changes and using and implementing the technologies effectively, you'd be, you know, successful in doing this way of strategy, which is cost leadership. Then commitment to strategic flexibility is necessary for implementation of an integrated cost leadership differentiation strategy. So you need flexible manufacturing systems, information networks, and total quality management system. So TQM, as I said, is very important, and it's something that helps you sustain your competitive advantage, because you always have to keep your quality or the quality of your products at an acceptable level. So it's really important. It's really important that you continuously verify the quality that you're providing to your customers. So commitment to these tools or ways or methods to keep your promises and help the customer get what they really ask for is commitment to your goals and strategies. So basically, you are committed to use the flexible manufacturing systems, information system, and quality, the total quality management. So you're committed to provide a high quality, you know, products or services to your customers. Okay. So what we mean by flexible manufacturing systems: computer-controlled processes used to produce a variety of products in moderate, flexible quantities with a minimum of manual intervention. So goal is to eliminate the low cost versus wide product variety trade-off. So sometimes you need to understand what is the low cost and what is the wide product variety. Sometimes you're just providing as many different types of products as possible. So you need to merge them together. You need to be able to, it shouldn't be like either so many different products or just a low cost. It should be like something that is in between. And then allows firms to produce large variety. Trade-off means change. Trade-off, let's say, when you trade something for something else. It's like when I buy an ice cream, I trade off buying a tea for that moment. Like when I want to buy something to eat, I either go buy a steak or something else. So that's a trade-off. So here the same concept. So you're not trading low cost with product variety. You need to be able to provide product variety and also at a low cost. So, and then it also helps the firm to produce large variety of products at relatively low cost. So that's what we are discussing. You need to have them both together. That's what we mean by, the flexibility. Okay, information networks. So what do we mean by information networks is link companies electronically with their suppliers, distributors, and customers. So a good example is Pizza Hut. Pizza Hut is one of the pizza providers in the United States. They have over 40 million customers registered in the database. So that helps them a lot. Like they have a very huge database that gives them a lot of preferences for their customers. So they facilitate efforts to satisfy customer expectations in terms of product quality and delivery speed, and then improve flow of work among employees in the firm and their counterparts at suppliers and distributors. So basically, when you have access or in-time access all along with your suppliers and distributors and customers, that helps you to save a lot of time, and that helps you to run your business much more efficiently. So that is really important to be able to link all these information systems together and efficiently and effectively use them when the need is. Okay. So we have total quality management systems. We talked about total quality management, and a good example, as I mentioned, was General Electric. As I said, they are continuously improving their total quality. So, but what we mean exactly by that is we emphasize total commitment to the customer through continuous improvement. So you are continuously improving your products or services as you go along. And it's data-driven problem-solving approaches. So you have the data. It means that when you are improving your quality, you are doing it according to the facts, according to what is happening or going on your products. So you are making sure that you fix the problems as they occur, but according to the facts, not just by guesstimations. And then also you empower your employees, groups, and teams. So basically, it's very important to understand that when you have a lot of layers in the corporation, so that just a small change needs a lot of paperwork and a lot of permission from the higher management, it wouldn't be possible to have total quality management. The way that General Electric or those leading in TQM work is not that for every single change they need to have the permission of the management. The team member, the staff is empowered enough to make decisions when the need is. So that's how they can improve. When they see a process is not efficient and needs to be changed, they change it right away. They don't have to get a lot of permissions from so many different managers. So that's really important. That's really important to understand. If you are going towards that direction, you need to understand what it takes to be a total quality, efficient, committed provider is to empower your employees. Then what are the benefits of doing that? Increases the customer satisfaction, it reduces the cost, and reduces time to market for innovative products. So basically you are embracing the innovation all the time when you're doing that, because you're saying yes to every single innovation done by your staff. Then what are the risks? The risks of integrated cost leadership differentiation is it often involves compromises. So becoming neither the low cost nor the most differentiated firms. This is the risk that you would neither be a low cost or a differentiated firm, or you will be stuck in the middle, lacking the strong commitment to an expertise that accompanies firms following either a cost leader or differentiated strategy. which is basically truly the case now. I mean, most of the companies, as you can recall, or I can recall, is they are stuck in the middle. They are somewhere in between. They are neither just a cost leader nor just a differentiated firm. It's just a matter of how you present yourself according to a certain product or to a certain segment. So it is a risk, but because it's so common now, it's everybody's problem, and it's just how you will deal with that problem. So to me, it is not anymore a problem. I mean, sometimes you have to be stuck in the middle to be able to satisfy both different type of customers. But the only important aspect that you should consider, and that is dangerous, is the perception of the customer of your product. So if the perception of the customer is that you are stuck in the middle, you are in trouble, because you need to make sure that the customer thinks what you want them to think. If you want them to think that you are a low-cost provider, that's what they should think. And if not, then and they're thinking that if you're thinking that you're a differentiator, and then the customer considers you as a low-cost provider, you are in deep trouble, because the customer is the one who is going to buy your product, and it's very important for them to be on the same line with you, because if you are stuck in the middle and the customer is confused about the image of the company that you have, you wouldn't be expecting the customer to buy your products, because they don't think that you're reliable that much. So it's really important that even if you're stuck in the middle, be able to manage the perception of the customers correctly when the time comes. So any questions so far? Any comments, any questions? Okay, so a strategy differentiation, one of the questions is, you are going to differentiate your products or service from the other companies, and you say, okay, the reason I'm more expensive, the reason I'm charging you more is because I'm giving you a unique product. So basically, we have two types of strategy: cost leadership, or differentiation. So by differentiation, you say, I'm giving you the unique product, I'm customizing it down to all your requirements or needs, so that's why we will charge more. So that's basically the concept. Very good. So now is the time for some tasks in the class. Okay, if you come to this page, what I want you to do is to tell me whether if your company is a cost leader or differentiation company, and write down its cost drivers and okay. So what I want you to do is to think and discuss whether the company you're working for, your organization, is a cost driver or they are a differentiation strategy user. And if so, let me just type it down one more time. Okay, there we go. And then write down the cost drivers and the value chain are reconfiguration. So first, think and determine which one is the case with your company, and then discuss the factors there. So I'll give you some minutes to start working on it. I welcome you to share it with your classmates, write it down, and then we'll go from there. Okay. Anyone wants to share his or her example? Any one of you ready yet? Anyone wants to share his or her example? Yes, Mr. Rafa, would you like to tell us?
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Rafa, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Poyan. My response is very short because I'm not so far very ready. I'm working, as you know, in a non-profitable company, but we do consider this concept of cost ladder and the differentiation issue because my organization is very tightly controls and oversee all admin and operational cost, and we also try to get the best results with the low cost possible when we want to assist the very poor people or over the country.
Very good.
And we have also a system of monitoring over cost activities. As I said, we don't want to spend too much for the same activity. We have models in other locations, and we just replicate those models and try to consider cost effectiveness and these cost issues. And on top of that, we want to provide better services and different services and compared to other humanitarian agencies, which is also, I think, the concept of differentiation which we learned during this session.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Rafa. So it's a very good explanation. Yep. Then you can also, in your answer, say how you are, doing those activities. You use these as some samples to write down your answer, and always send it to my email by tomorrow. And so if there is no question for today, we can finish the class and go to the next class, which is our marketing class. So is there any questions so far? Anything you want me to explain again, or it's unclear? Okay. So thank you everyone for attending the class. I'll see you in the next class, in the marketing class, and we finished this cost versus differentiation strategy and how we implement it even down to the layers of value chain, and how we can utilize either of these strategies and be successful, or sometimes even mix them together, and we just call this being stuck in the middle, and be successful. So I hope all these theories and examples will help you to implement them in your own company or organization and succeed. So value chain, we have discussed it several times in the previous classes. Value chain is the way that your company produces value to the customer, and basically this chart here is your value chain. So you have activities and the support activities, and we discussed it. If you are a cost leader or differentiation, there will be different ways and methods to do it. So that's what we mean by that. Okay, so thank you everyone. I'll see you in the next class. And while there is no question, we just end the 7th session of business strategy. See you and have a nice day.